March 8, 2014. A Boeing 777 takes off into the night. 239 people on board. Everything is normal. Then, less than an hour later, the aircraft disappears. No distress call. No warning. Just silence. But years later, investigators would find something disturbing. Something hidden. On the pilot's own computer. Buried deep inside deleted files, a flight simulation. A route. One that looked eerily similar to where MH370 may have ended. And it raised a chilling question: was this disappearance planned? The aircraft was flying from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. Piloted by Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, experienced. Respected. Zahari wasn't just a pilot, he was a fanatic. He had his own YouTube channel showing off his home-built flight simulator. Friends described him as a man who could fix anything. He knew the Boeing 777 better than the engineers who built it. Some investigators believe he may have known every blind spot and every circuit in the radar. Passengers were settling in. Cabin lights dimmed. The flight climbed smoothly into cruising altitude. Everything looked routine. Until it wasn't. As the plane approached the boundary between Malaysian and Vietnamese airspace, it vanished. Civilian radar lost contact. Air traffic control tried to reach the cockpit. No response. No emergency signal. No indication of trouble. It was as if the plane had been switched off. Then came the first major breakthrough. Military radar revealed something unexpected. The plane hadn't crashed. It turned. Sharply. And began flying back across Malaysia. But it didn't just turn. It flew directly along the border of two different radar zones. Zigzagging to stay invisible. This wasn't just flying, it was tactical. This wasn't random. At the exact moment control was handed over, the transponder was turned off. In an instant, MH370 became a ghost. But then, the turn happened. A tactical bank that only a highly skilled pilot could execute. The plane flew along radar borders, staying just out of reach. He was hiding in plain sight. This was controlled. Someone was flying that aircraft. Satellite data later showed something even more disturbing. While the plane was zigzagging in the night, what was happening to the 239 people on board? Some experts believe the cabin may have been intentionally depressurized. Within minutes, the oxygen masks would have dropped. But those only last for 15 minutes. After that, total silence. A plane full of sleeping passengers. Flown by a pilot who had no intention of landing. MH370 continued flying. 4 hours. Far beyond its original path. Deep into the Indian Ocean. Alone. Out of radar coverage. Out of communication. Until finally, it vanished completely. And just when investigators thought the mystery couldn't get stranger, they discovered something hidden. Something no one expected. Authorities began examining the captain's personal belongings, including his home computer. Inside, they found deleted data. Recovered piece by piece. A flight simulator program. And within it, a specific route. The simulated path showed a flight, heading deep into the southern Indian Ocean. Far from land. Far from any rescue. Almost identical to the area where investigators believed MH370 ended. This was no ordinary simulation. For 7 hours, a lone satellite in space kept knocking on the plane's door. These were the handshakes. Even though the radio was off. The plane's computer automatically replied, "I'm still here." Using the speed of light and the angle of these pings, mathematicians calculated 7 arcs. The final arc ended in the 7th corridor, one of the deepest, most violent parts of the ocean on Earth. It was a 1 in million chance that we tracked it at all. It looked precise. Intentional. Planned. This discovery divided experts. Some said, it was coincidence. Pilots often simulate random routes. Others believed, this was the missing piece. Proof that the disappearance may have been deliberate. But there was one problem, no definitive evidence. No final confirmation. Only questions. The search for MH370 became one of the largest in aviation history. Oceans were scanned. Coastlines were monitored. Years later, small pieces of debris were found. Washed up on distant shores. But the main wreckage was never recovered. A modern aircraft. With advanced tracking systems. Carrying 239 people. Disappeared. And even today, we still don't know exactly why. A flight vanishes. A hidden simulation is uncovered. And a mystery remains unsolved. Was it a tragic accident, or something far more deliberate? What do you think really happened to MH370? Accident, or intentional? Because if this was planned, then this wasn't just a disappearance, it was the perfect vanishing.